You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Ooh, you got real pukey with that.
I know, I did it differently.
Watch-A-Thon of
Watch-A-Thon
Rassilon.
of Rassilon. And I'm Joe Heath, and you are?
I can't do the pukey radio voice.
You're Toni Heath.
I can't do it. I was gonna try and then
your best
immediately
friend.
couldn't.
Today we're going to be talking about the... I did normal and then I slipped into it at the end. Today we're going to be talking about the 10th episode of the second series of Doctor Who.
There are people turning off the podcast right now. I'm begging you to stop.
Hi. Today we're going to be talking about the
There you go.
10th...
Use that NPR voice.
And now the weather. Today we're going to be talking about the 10th episode of the second series of Doctor Who, Love and Monsters? Which aired June 17th, 2006. True facts! How you doing?
Like in general?
Yeah,
you
in
don't
general.
want to know.
No, you're kind of been like real, just a real bummer this week.
Thanks. Yeah, no. Guy might be dying.
Cool. This will be your second podcast you recorded in like 3 days, even though you're sick.
Even though I'm sick.
Good job.
I'm very committed.
It's not 2 episodes of this podcast. We're not getting ahead.
No.
Forget that nonsense.
We guested on another podcast.
We did guest on another podcast. We're going to be on a podcast called It's Time to Rewind, talking about Carnival of Monsters. It's a time loop podcast. I feel like we did it before.
We did do Carnival of Monsters before.
Oh, we did! Weird. Are we stuck in a time loop?
It feels like it sometimes.
Because this is...
But I think it's just
You know
marriage.
what? This is the second time we've watched Love and Monsters. Wait. Rude. You jerk. I was trying to segue back
You
into
were
Doctor
trying
Who.
so hard. You weren't
then
going to
you
acknowledge it at all.
Slammed
You
me.
were going to steamroll right over it.
Okay, but like, it's a good time loop. It's a time loop made of good things.
It's a romantic time loop.
Sure. You throw me entirely
I'm
up.
so sorry.
So we're going to be talking about Love and Monsters. A crazy little thing called Love and Monsters. Do you want me to do my summary? Or do you want to bullshit some more?
No, please, for the love of God, do your summary.
Okay. This is my alternate title for this episode. Dr. Where. That's Doctor, comma, Where, question mark. Because they're trying to find the doctor.
Yeah.
There is a pretty good Dr. What joke in this episode.
I enjoy a good Dr. What joke.
Okay, here's my summary of Love and Monsters. Told in vlog style, Elton Pope tells us about his experiences with the extraterrestrial and the Doctor, and how that led to him joining a group of like-minded individuals who formed a fan community they named Linda. However, a man named Victor Kennedy invades the group and makes them crack down on hunting the Doctor, while Elton does his part by seducing, in air quotes, Jackie Tyler. Other members of Linda begin to mysteriously disappear. It is soon discovered that Victor Kennedy is actually an alien called the Abzorbal-Off, who has been absorbing all of the members of Linda in the hopes of leading the Doctor to him. This works, but the Doctor, with the aid of the absorbed Linda members, melts the Abzorbal-Off into goo. Elton is the only member of Linda left alive. That is, until the Doctor brings Elton's love interest, Ursula Blake, back to life as an immortal blowjob dispensing pavement slab.
Okay, that part's not...
What? Am I wrong?
I want you to be.
That's my summary of Love and Monsters.
Okay, would you like my take?
Can I pitch an alternate version of this episode?
Fascinating, go on.
It's the same thing, but instead of all the Linda members, it's the bad guys, the aliens from the Space Jam movie.
What?
And be Love and Monstars.
That was so much setup for nothing.
I know.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I listened to you for like 10 minutes setting that up. My God.
Because this episode is a cartoon.
This episode.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. I'm in a weird mood.
I can tell.
My fingers are sticky.
From
the pineapples. The chicken. I was eating sliders with pineapple juice on them. What were you going to say?
Can I talk about Doctor Who, or would
I'm
you?
not stopping you. I just wanted to let you know. Look at that.
You really don't want to talk about Love and Monsters.
You know, I actually like this episode.
Because it's a good episode.
I like the first
It's
half of this episode.
90% a good episode.
75%.
75% a good episode.
25%. What are you thinking? Okay, actually, it's 15%. What are you thinking? How much have I got left? 10% bad casting. Just of one character.
That's true. If the Abzorbal-Off was different, and if there wasn't a weird blowjob joke at the end, this would be a freaking fan favorite. It is about fandom community, and it's cute as fuck, and it's tender. It's so tender.
It drops the ball at the end, though. It fully drops the ball.
It drops the ball so bad that it ruins the rest of the episode in a way that I can't fully comprehend.
What is, like, the message that toxic nerds are destroying fandom?
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but, like, there's no hopeful message there, really.
Well, I think
Elton's the only one who lives. The rest of the fandom dies. Well, okay, 2 people live, but one of them is, an immortal pavement star.
Why is she immortal? They didn't have to say that she was immortal. That is hellish to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Elton's gonna die and she's just gonna be...
on a shelf somewhere.
She's
gonna wind up in a Goodwill.
No! It's so awful. Terrifying. Very, very bad.
The ending's bad. The ending's bad.
The Abzorbal-Off, bad.
Yeah. The actor playing him, also bad.
Bad.
Like, I feel like this episode's kind of cartoonish in a way that works, and then I think you get to him and he shouldn't be cartoonish. Because him being cartoonish kind of, like, doesn't work. It doesn't work. I feel like if he was more serious, like, more serious of a threat in this cartoonish thing, it would be a nice contrast.
It's like acting with the Muppets.
Yeah.
You can't act like you're in a Muppet movie. You have to just act.
Mm.
It's the only way to sell it.
Yeah. And they messed it up. I do think a large part of it is down to casting. I feel like even the script as is could have been performed better. It's literally a comedian playing this guy.
What would you change? Like, you get to rewrite this script.
1, get rid of the blowjob joke. Maybe unabsorb all of them? Because that would be nicer. Either that or kill everybody but Elton. So it's like, it's a truly tragic ending. Mm-hmm. I feel like he tried to, like, have a tragic ending but hey, he's got a girlfriend. And it didn't, it's bad.
It doesn't land. No. Do you think it would be better for everyone to be okay or for everyone to die? Make a choice now. Everyone lives or everyone dies?
Everyone lives.
Oh, you softy.
I mean, they're Doctor Who fans. Why are we killing off Doctor Who fans? I don't think that's nice. I'm one of them. I don't know.
We've been filming for 10 minutes and I've run out of things to say.
Well, I have notes.
Okay.
First off, this is the first Dr. Light episode.
Do you think that's part of the reason why it's so hated? Or do you think it's just the end?
No, I think it's just the end.
Okay.
I mean, there have been loved Dr. Light episodes.
That's true. But I could see, like, the first one, people being like, what the fuck was that?
Well, you were that way about the first one in classic Doctor Who.
Which one was that?
Mission to the Unknown.
Okay, but Mission to the Unknown was bad, though.
It wasn't that bad. It was fine.
It shouldn't have existed.
It's weird that this episode I don't think it did well. It wasn't critically well received. And yet
it's universally hated.
Yeah, but yet Dr. Light episodes stayed a thing.
That's true. It's not like they did one Dr. Light episode and they were like, well, that was awful.
I mean, it is largely, I think, a budgeting
scheduling thing.
Because they were filming this and the last 2-parter, The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. They were filming that and Love and Monsters at the same time. It's called double banking. because they could just have 2 units running at the same time and save time and money. It's definitely not the best Dr. Light episode, but I don't think it's bad until the end.
I don't think it's... that's the thing. The first half of this episode, I could see being a fan favorite because it is so sweet.
Mm-hmm. I love Linda. I like Elton. Elton could have been done really badly.
He could be very annoying, very easy.
But I like the guy who plays him a lot. I think he plays it really sweet.
Yes.
He never comes across... He comes across annoying in the way that your friends are annoying. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's just Elton.
That's just Elton.
Oh, speaking of Linda, which stands for London Investigation Detective Agency.
I like that scene, too, where
they're forming a fan community, basically.
But they're discussing the benefits of the
fish and chips. Apparently that originated in a children's television show that Russell T Davies worked on, but it was Liverpool Investigation Detective Agency. I did the briefest of looking at the Wikipedia. It sounds kind of like a Zoom situation. There's like a bunch of kids, they answer questions, they make stuff, they like answer letters and stuff. And the show was called...
You don't mean Zoom. You mean Zoom like the PBS show.
Yes. What did you think I meant?
Zoom like the
No,
software.
Zoom like the PBS show. I'm sorry.
Come on and Zoom. Okay. I'm with you now.
But the show was called WDYJSOYTSAGADSLBI. Or, why don't you just switch off your television set and go and do something less boring instead? Which they just shortened to, why don't you? So that's where Linda originates.
I mean, it's no Zoom.
According to Wikipedia, like, RTD didn't create it or anything. He just eventually took it over at some point. And he took it from less than 1 million viewers to over 3 million viewers in his tenure. So, dude knows what he's doing.
Kind of feels like the opposite of what the show is trying to achieve, though.
Good point.
Successful, but was he?
Not at the mission statement of the show. So, like, who are all the members of Linda? What do you...
So, I mean, I think the best part of this episode is when they're talking about how first someone started cooking, then someone wrote a novel, and I think that's the part that really gets me, too. There's the novel reading, and that's what Joe and I do. That's how we hang out with our friends.
We literally, like, the second time we ever met each other, or was it the first time we met each other? We were reading through the Hitchhiker's Guide.
It was the second time.
Okay.
The first time it was just Vince was live streaming music. And then I was really excited for Towel Day because I knew that there was an event planned and I was very excited about it.
Uh-huh. Just that there's an event planned.
Yeah.
Didn't care about the guests at all.
Nope. We would get together with our friends online. We would read things that we've written. Mm-hmm. Vince would play music that they've created.
We've never started a cover band.
No. I wouldn't know what I guess I could have a tambourine.
We do, because there's also the woman whose daughter is missing, and they kind of just have like a little, like, comforting session. And I feel like our friends are good at that, too.
Yeah. I feel like our online friend group got very, very close during the pandemic because we were relying on each other for support. I don't, it's just the people coming together and making a community and sharing like their hobbies and the things they create and living life together is very good. And I like it. And it makes me cry.
So what you're saying is our friend group needs to start an ELO cover band.
Sure.
I don't know a lot of ELO songs.
I know the one that's in this episode.
There's 3 in this episode.
Are there?
Yeah, you only know the one.
I only know the one.
I forget what they are.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky. That's, I feel like, the most obvious one. Don't Bring Me Down.
Oh,
I know that one. And Turn to Stone. I actually don't know that one. But I do know Don't Bring Me Down. I really wanted to use it in a short film I did called Ditched, where a guy falls into a ditch. And I thought that'd be funny to use that song.
Amazing. You truly are an incredible artist.
Yep.
Do you remember the names and the things of everybody else?
Nope. I know Ursula. There's 2 people in this episode from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. She's one of them, Moaning Myrtle. Do you know who the other one is?
I mean, David Tennant.
Correct! In his worst role ever. In that dumb, licky tongue thing. God, I hate it so much.
I don't know what that was about.
Let's see, the other members are Mr. Skinner. He's the guy who's writing a novel who has a crush on the woman whose daughter is missing.
That part was so cute too. They're becoming sweet. Everything's so tender.
Then there's Bridget. I think she might be the one who's the old lady. And Bliss is the young.
Bliss is the first one to die.
Yeah, so you don't get as much.
Bliss.
She's the one that's like an artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she the one that becomes his butt that he literally farts through? God damn it, Russell T. Davies.
Why'd you do that? You didn't have to. You could have done anything else.
That's so awful that they die and get absorbed into a body and then, like, farted through. Awful.
It's bad.
Truly fucking terrible. By the way, the Hoiks, I'm looking at the Wikipedia cast. The Hoiks is the alien at the beginning of the episode that they throw the bucket of water on. And it's only called the Hoiks because they needed a name for the credits. So RTD was just like, the Hoiks. Doesn't mean anything. Just...
That opening, too, is also incredibly funny.
It's very Scooby-Doo.
I was going to say, talk about this episode being a cartoon.
She throws, like, the blue bucket with water, and he's like, I said, you're supposed to do the red bucket. And she said, no, you said blue. And he said, I said not blue. And then they're, like, running through doorways, like, in the classic Scooby-Doo episode. It's fantastic. So, I've seen this a lot from people on the internet. Do you think all of this stuff actually happened, or is this due to Elton's narration?
That's stupid.
He's an unreliable narrator. Because there's even people who theorize that, like, she's not alive in that pavement slab. That's part of it. You never actually see her in the vlog. He never faces her toward the camera.
Not in the vlog, it's after?
It cuts to, like, you know, the fictional camera.
I don't know. If that's the case, then just say that. This is all like, this show is even darker than you even knew, clickbait.
Ed and Eddie are all dead. Dead and Deaddy.
Dead and Deaddy.
I have seen that theory. I don't think it was called Dead,
It's
and Deaddy.
that theory about everything, where it's like, actually, they're all dead, and it's all in the imagination of this one person who wants it to be happy, and it's like, if you need to think that about everything, fine. If it's not explicit in the narrative, then it's not. Okay,
before we talk more about things that suck.
Yeah.
I want to mention one little fact and one thing that I thought was really good. So there is this, like, montage of Elton experiencing basically every major alien event in the history of New Who.
Yeah.
There's originally going to be some classic Who stuff in there, but it got nixed, so it's, I guess, not to be confusing. Originally, Elton's 3rd birthday party was evacuated because of the Dalek invasion of Shoreditch, which is from the Remembrance of the Daleks, which is 7th Doctor. His mother was killed by a plastic daffodil.
Oh! I would have lost my mind.
Which is from Terror of the Autons. Instead, but they changed that to an elemental shade, whatever the hell that is. And he would have saw the Loch Ness Monster rising, which is from Terror of the Zygons. So there would have been some classic Who references, but...
I remember during that, like, montage being like, oh, he's Donna Noble's foil.
Yeah.
He was there for everything.
The thing I want to talk about that was good, Jackie Tyler.
Jackie Tyler gets to be a real human being in this episode, and multidimensional and everything.
A little bit of a sexual predator, but yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's interesting because we haven't seen Jackie in a while. She was technically in the Cyberman 2-parter, but that wasn't really her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's only in the last scene for, like, I think she only has, like, one line that's just like, Rose! But we haven't really seen her in a minute.
That's true.
And this is kind of like her send-off in a way, I feel like. They give her something to do, which is interesting. And it's like, apart from the Doctor and Rose, they don't interact with her at all in this episode.
Yeah.
It's so good, and it's very funny, because Elton is supposed to be infiltrating and finding out more about, because they know Rose is with the Doctor. And so, like, he just tries to find Jackie and stumbles into every single thing very easily, But, like, his narration is making him sound like a James Bond secret agent. But, like, he's like, I gotta find this one person in a million. And then, like, the first person he shows a picture of Rose to is like, oh, her mom lives right over there. And then he, like, goes to do laundry and she just starts hitting on him immediately. Tells him her name, invites him over, just does everything for him so he doesn't have to do anything. And also, like, he's fixing a lot of stuff around her house. And I don't think he realizes he's being hit on.
I don't think so.
He's just like, man, a lot of your stuff just keeps breaking. And then she spills some wine on him. She spills even more wine on him very deliberately. And I think he picks up on it. And then he's like ready to hit the clown.
The scene in the bathroom where he's trying to hype himself up about it is pretty good. He's like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to go flirt with this woman for Linda.
For Linda. He comes back into the bedroom and she's got off the phone with Rose.
Yeah.
And she's like, doesn't want to do it anymore. And literally do it. Wink. And then he's just like, you know what? Let's just be friends. You need comfort. I'm going to get us a pizza and we're going to hang out and watch TV. And it's really cute.
It is.
It's really adorable. I really like it. And then it sucks when she finds out that he's been hanging out with her because he wants to learn about Rose and the doctor. And then they have a big confrontation about it. And that's also a really good scene.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, though. It's very sad because I like Elton and I like Jackie. And it's all Ian Levine's fault that it's not working out.
You need to explain that.
No. Okay, so now let's get into the thing that's not good. Victor Kennedy, the guy who infiltrates Linda and takes over the group and is like, we need to find the doctor. He is allegedly based on Ian Levine.
Allegedly, according to whomst?
Lots of people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's apparently not subtle. I don't know.
Sources, believe me.
It's mentioned on multiple Wikipedias. It's mentioned in reviews of this episode.
It is known among the wise.
It is not known among the wise, yes. Because, like, here's the thing. Ian Levine was a big-name fan. He was the Doctor Who lore guy in the 80s who made Doctor Who worse. I think he thinks himself more important than he is, and he's, like, one of those type of fans who's, like, way too hardcore into it and thinks that his opinions are they are the definitive.
Nobody's opinions about Doctor Who matter. Not even the people who write it. And
especially the people who write it.
Especially them.
I'm looking at you, Chibnall. Victor Kennedy is the big name fan who enters fandom and fucks it up.
Because he makes it serious business.
He makes it serious business, yeah.
And crushes all the creativity and the love and the kindness.
Yeah, for, fan wank, continuity, we gotta make everything make sense. Nonsense. That kind of thing. I will say Ian Levine did also make the K9 and Company theme song, so.
K9!
Props for that, at least. So that is Victor Kennedy. He becomes the Abzorbal-Off. I think the Abzorbal-Off is not a bad concept. It was created by a 7-year-old, 8-year-old child named William Grantham.
Who also doesn't like the Abzorbal-Off.
Incorrect.
No?
That's been exaggerated.
Oh.
He was surprised that he was... Okay, the kid did say he's bigger than a double-decker bus. And when they showed him, like, here's the Abzorbal-Off, he was like, oh, I thought he was going to be bigger than a double-decker bus. But he was fine with it.
I see.
They actually interview him on the Doctor Who Confidential, and they take him to see the actor and everything, the Abzorbal-Off, and he's just super delighted, and he has a lot of fun. He is I don't know if he's a very popular, but he's a popular YouTube person. He does like Twitch streaming type stuff. His name is Channel Pup, and apparently he's talked about it on there sometimes too, about like he likes the Abzorbal-Off, he likes the episode.
Good for him.
I don't think the concept is bad. I think the idea of a monster that absorbs people and like they're like stuck in his body, that's legitimately creepy and good. That's terrifying. And it works a little bit in the episode. The parts that don't work is when it's played as like just gross body humor. Like when it's literally the fart scene. Or like, oh, I'm stuck on this obese dude, you know? It's bad. But the idea of being absorbed into, like, an alien and not, you're kind of stuck there, that's fucked up.
That is messed up.
And I like that aspect of it. Because there are parts of it that's like, I don't like this, but in a way that I'm not supposed to like it. I just don't like when it does the goofy comedy bits that are just gross. You know, RTD. But and again, the actor who plays him, I don't think plays it right.
No.
It doesn't feel like, okay, so like, I feel like Linda is over the top, but believable. And I think he's over the top and not believable. You know? He doesn't vibe. He just doesn't vibe.
He just does not vibe.
He's kind of Abzorbal-Off, if you ask me.
Jesus.
I do like that joke where, because like he doesn't call himself the Abzorbal-Off.
No, that is a good joke of the Doctor doing the same thing that Elton does, like coming to the name of Abzorbal-Off.
And then the Abzorbal-Off is like, yes,
yeah, that one. I like it.
That is pretty funny. I also like, they're like, is he a Raxacorical-Palabatorian? And he's like, no, I hate that planet. We're its twin planet. And he's like, it has a twin planet? Yeah, what's it called? Clom. Which is like so good because Raxacorical-Palabatorius is so long and cumbersome, and then you just got Clom.
Thank you for explaining that joke to me.
You're welcome. That's the structure of it. It's comedy and contrast.
I wouldn't have been able to process this information otherwise.
Clom. Does Clom come back?
I think so.
Is it one of the missing planets?
Yes. Maybe. I don't remember.
Oh, we haven't done our update. Well, there's a Bad Wolf mention and a Torchwood mention. I think when Victor Kennedy brings his, like, stuff in, he's like, I got some of this from the Torchwood folks over at Torchwood Institute, yeah. So, that's your update. Question. Would you still love me if I was a pavement slab?
If you gave good BJs.
It's completely disappeared.
I got embarrassed by my own self.
Oh, God. I'm glad to know our love is conditional. You want to go to an ad break?
Yeah, I do.
Let's go to an ad break.
Everyone these days could use a little support, and your friends at the ESO Network are no different. With the ESO Network Patreon, the cool thing is when you help support us, it's you who will benefit. With 4 tiers starting for as little as 25 cents a week, you can listen to some of your favorite network podcasts early, hear exclusive content, maybe get some ESO swag, or even possibly take a shot at the geek seat. All you need to do is sign up at patreon.com/ESO Network.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Tony, do you know what time it is?
Yeah.
What time is it?
In 7:09.
No, it's not. It's 7:08.
Oh, man, I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, I'm going to be getting glasses soon. That'll be nice.
What? Would you like to know what time it is?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to sit here in silence.
Oh, you have any questions for me?
Sure. Would you love me if I was a pavement slab who wasn't good at giving BJs?
No.
You know what? The episode I don't think it said if she was good at it or not. Just that they had a love life.
Do you give me your final thoughts?
Oh, sure. Hey, Tony, what are your final thoughts on Love Monsters?
They did miss a trick not calling it Love and Monsters.
They did.
Fine. I will continue defending this episode until I die. I think that this is a really good episode with a very tender look at fandom life that is ruined by terrible monster execution and a cop-out ending. And if you haven't watched it in a while and you only remember the terrible monster execution and the cop-out ending, I don't know, maybe rewatch the first, 20 minutes. It's super cute. That's it.
There's a really good joke where he mentions he's not that Elton, and it plays the legally allowed amount of Elton John. My thoughts are the same. It's a great episode. It would be one of my favorites. I remember when I watched it for the first time and you told me that it was not a
universally panned.
And I was like, what are you talking about? This episode's great. I love this. And then the end came around and I was like, oh, because the end sucks. It's not even just the content of the ending. It's the way it's written. All of the bodies inside the Abzorbal-Off just say things that no human being would ever say. They say the things they're doing, sort of thing. They're saying things that we can see with our eyes. And it's just so bad. Everything from the reveal of the Abzorbal-Off on is pretty much garbage. But everything before it, great. Except for, again,
if it was a slightly different episode, it would be universally beloved. And that is so much more frustrating to me than just...
Would it, though? People don't like...
Oh, you're right. People don't like fun or joy. I forget.
To me, this is an episode like Double Meat Palace, which people hate Double Meat Palace. I love Double Meat Palace. Those, like, weird sort of one-off episodes.
What were they smoking when they wrote this one? Am I right? Am I right? What was that about? Was it a dream?
Like that one Ted Lasso episode with the sports announcers narrating what's happening.
That's such a good episode of Ted Lasso. And in an otherwise mediocre season. Okay, we're not...
No. That was in a good season.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The third season one was the one where they all go to... It doesn't have beard in it. They all go to... And she has that romance on the boat.
You're right.
That's a pretty good episode.
It's not as good as that one, though.
It's not as good as that one.
Because that season's mediocre. We're
a Ted Lasso
We're not a Ted Lasso podcast.
We're lassoing them in.
When they announced the new season, and my response to that was to just feel exhausted. Like, I guess I gotta watch that.
Maybe they can make up for the last bad season. Maybe they can make my OT3 canon. Please make my OT3 canon. You
were just rooting for every love triangle to become an OT3, and it only panned out for you once.
And it was great. And I loved it.
You had such a good time watching Sense8.
They made my OT3 canon! Do you know how many times there's a fucking love triangle and it's just like, why don't they all just like each other? It's fine. And then they did it. And you know what? It was great.
They were super cute.
They were all cute. Now just do that with Jamie, Roy Kent, and Keeley.
Okay, we gotta close out this podcast, my guy. We're so off topic.
There's already a poly relationship in that show, so do it. And they play that one kind of as like a visual gag, so do a proper one. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
I can't remember his name. The cute puppy dog guy. He has 2 girlfriends. I forget his name. He's one of the players. Football is life. That guy.
Ah.
Anyway, this is a Ted Lasso podcast.
We're not a Ted Lasso podcast. Stop telling people this is a Ted Lasso podcast.
We're here. We're there. We're every fucking where. We're a Ted Lasso podcast. I feel like Chris Cherry's gonna hate this part. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Anything you want to plug?
No.
I want to plug once again that we're going to be on an episode of It's Time to Rewind, a time loop podcast hosted by Bubba Wheat. Follow Bubba Wheat on all the social medias and listen to us talk about Carnival of Monsters. I believe that episode comes out next month. Check that out. And when I say next month, I mean October. I believe that's what he said. Maybe he said November. Just keep an eye out. He's doing a season on Red Dwarf and Doctor Who, alternating between the two. And we're going to be on Carnival of Monsters, and we are also, we haven't done this one yet, but we're going to, towards the end of the season, he's going to be doing an episode per loop of Eve of the Daleks, the 13th Doctor time loop episode. And we're going to be on the first loop, which I guess isn't really a loop. It's just the setup for what will begin to loop. Anyway, that's all I got. If you like this episode of the podcast, check out more on WatchYourRassilon.com. You can also find our podcast, our Patreon, and more at Linktree/Watch-A-Thon. I want to give a special shout out to Vince and EL for providing us with our amazing theme song.
Thanks, Vince.
Check out more of their music at vinceandel.bandcamp.com. And tune in next time when we talk about another fan favorite, Fear Her. Is this a bad season?
Yes.
Oh.
This season is not good.
You may be right. I mean, it did have a fantastic two-parter.
Yes. Listen, we're past the plugs, we're wrapping up. There's very few eras of Doctor Who that doesn't have something fantastic in it as a part of it.
Even like 13th Doctor. But until next time, keep calm and wrestle on.
Goodbye, and I love you in a platonic parasocial way.
Biting stuff.
Fish and chips, rock and roll, Chakademus and pliers.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping for the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.